We had multimedia projects, which was chapter 11. So basically this chapter just talked about bringing everything that we've learned together and the different purposes for this interactive multimedia and how it can be interesting and entertaining as well as captivating. So it talks about categorizing multimedia uses. The types of multimedia uses include education and training, entertainment, information, business, as well as personal. So one of those is presentations. Presentations, just like this one, provide information to an audience, generally using a collection of slides. Many presentations are referred to as authoring tools because they allow you to write or author and build presentations. One of the best known presentation software programs is Microsoft's PowerPoint. And I would argue that Google Slides is not too far behind that because it allows you to have access to editing for multiple parties. So it's a lot easier of software to be able to use. Well, it's used through browser, but I would just say that it's one of the up and coming presentations, I think. So this is an example of types of presentation software that a presentation can have, and that includes creating text, adding hyperlinks, creating animations, and incorporating sound effects. I would like this to be a GIF because that's kind of a good example of like an animation, but this still kind of involves the same thing, which is the ability that this is a presentation and I have the ability to input a video into the presentation to make it a little bit more engaging. And that's the whole purpose too. It allows the presentation to come alive and keep the audience engaged. And then the examples below, PowerPoint, Apple's Keynote, QuickTime, RealPlay, Adobe Flash, and GIFs are all examples of those types of softwares. So video and animation, these can be seen from everywhere from movies, video games, and operating systems. It would be incomplete without sound, and it's often accompanied by text. So that would be anything from the movie title to maybe it's in a different language, so having the subtitles on there as well as the credits at the end. And then any sort of graphics or cartoons. The combination of media adds for a more richer and comprehensible experience. Video and animation can be non-participatory, like movies, or require participation, like video games and watching a 3D film, digital film with 3D glasses in a theater. I don't know if you saw Banderdash, but that's a good example of an interactive experience. It's kind of combining like non-participation with it being a movie, but also that specific movie on Netflix, you were able to choose the ending and choose where the characters went and what choices they made. So it made it an active participation. So that was a very interesting and unique experience.
So, another use of multimedia would be for educational and training programs. Schools, colleges, hospitals, businesses, and homes can all use some sort of interactive multimedia for education and training purposes, and chances are you've probably used one before. Interactive multimedia assists in learning difficult concepts to allow users to move at their own pace. Simulations are a great example of the use of multimedia to learn. The medical field and military use simulations all the time in order to train users for the real life thing. Some examples of this are virtual surgery or a flight simulator. In astronomy, a lot of the times we use a program called Stellarium, and it's a simulation of the stars, and it allows us to interact with the sky in ways that we can't in real life. Another form of multimedia usage is websites. We've all used websites before, from social networking to blogging to wiki creation and file sharing. Interactive websites are very normal today and are created using HTML tags. These websites can be extended with XML, Java, or JavaScript to add more interactivity, such as navigational elements and dynamic menus. There are some key factors that affect the end-user web experience, such as the bandwidth speed, the speed of the server providing the information that the user requested, and the user's own connection. These three things will impact the speed and how fast you can access these websites. Another use that we're probably all familiar with is apps and mini software programs. So apps can do everything from calculated taxes to gaming. They help us listen to music, translate phrases, and manipulate photos. The list goes on and on. The advantage is there's so many to choose from. They're free or generally cheaper than large programs. They're easily accessed, portable, and convenient, and many don't even need internet access once they're downloaded. There are limitations though, because generally these apps are used on small screens and have limited storage capabilities. Furthermore, video games are another form of multimedia. Video games are considered the epitome of interactivity, and they make the user participate in almost every aspect of the multimedia project. Sound effects and music aid in reinforcing the gameplay to allow a user to experience other worlds and storylines. A controller is an interactive device that responds to the user's input and interacts with the program itself to change what is happening on the screen. This can include a more simple controller, like the controller for an Xbox, or something more complicated like a VR headset. We've seen in our Unity projects use a keyboard to interact with the program. In addition, many films can be adapted to video games to create more interactivity inside of that universe. You can get a hold of video games by downloading them from the internet, getting them on CDs, or on cartridges. So there are some other noteworthy forms of multimedia, such as a 3D TV, where you wear the 3D glasses, and instead of a TV being 2D, you can see more depth. The Nintendo Switch, which uses controllers as well as a touchpad to allow for more interactivity with the multimedia. And then there's also the quick response code, also known as the QR code. You have probably scanned one of these before, but it's a matrix barcode that can be read using a QR reader app or a phone camera, and the code can take you to a website to give you more information. So what's changed from history? Technology is always progressing and always moving forward, so there's more multimedia in our lives. Especially in a time like this with COVID-19, it's so important for us to know how to use multimedia so that we can interact with our professors and our friends and our family. So more and more things are taking place online in a multimedia format. Now, what do I think it'll look like in the next 10 years? Well, I think everything will simply continue to become more and more interactive. Multimedia is already a huge part of our daily lives, and we are all becoming more and more fluent in it. It will soon be ingrained, if it isn't already, ingrained within our society. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something. Stay safe, stay inside, wash your hands, and have a good one.